With the official release of Madden NFL 19 coming out on the 10th, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at the fictional lead of their story mode. Some spoilers for backstory revealed in Longshot Homecoming, and also some assumptions made to flesh out the story. Devin Wade was always a quarterback, playing the position since he was old enough to throw the ball in his front yard of his massive Texas home, with his father and best friend Colton Cruz. He played organized football throughout his youth, including Pop Warner, where he learned the highs of winning and the lows of defeat. But he didn't truly become the quarterback he is until he walked onto the massive high school campus in 2009. As a freshman, he and Cruz would make the varsity squad, and would see their first action only a few weeks into the season, against Post. Down 21-7 in the third, massive starting quarterback Caleb Young went down with an injury, and coach Hank Jamison decided to call on the freshman. They would come in and lead Mathis to a 35-28 victory. From there, Wade would go on to have one of the most prolific Texas high school careers, culminating in the 2012 Texas 3A State Championship. Wade would decide to stay home for college, choosing to attend the University of Texas. There he redshirted his freshman season, and would then beat out senior David Ash and sophomore Tyrone Swoops for the starting job the next year. But just a few months before the season began, he would receive a major blow. His father, who was his mentor and former coach, died in a freak car accident, leaving him orphaned, though he did find refuge with the Cruz family. At Texas, Wade would never showcase his true potential. Despite a fine performance against Cupcake North Texas in the opener, he followed that up with losses to BYU and number 12 UCLA, before his benching in a loss to Oregon after his 7th pick in 3 games. In the days following the game, Wade would resign from his position on the UT football program and withdrew from the university. He would soon decide to join the U.S. Army, eventually being stationed in Dubai. It is there he met Captain McCarthy, an ex-collegiate kicker who knew who Wade was. It is him who pushed Wade back towards football, hiding balls all around the base as Wade went on with his carpentry work. Wade would eventually take those balls and set up a shooting gallery of sorts, in an open hangar, destroying extra crates he had made. It is there his love of football came back. After his tour was complete and he was back home, Wade expressed interest in returning to football, and was accepted to an NFL Regional Combine event that had also accepted his best friend Colton Cruz. There he would be the top-performing quarterback, and would catch the eye of TV producer Julia Vasco. She would extend Wade the opportunity to appear in a reality TV show, aiming to take a long-shot athlete like himself and coach him up into a draft pick. Wade was initially reluctant, but in his car ride back to Mathis would be convinced by Cruz to take the opportunity. Upon showing up for the live television premiere, he would be blindsided by the fact he was not the only quarterback selected for the show, and would in fact have to compete for the chance to be the long shot. Having played only 4 collegiate games several years prior, host and ex-NFL coach Jack Ford would single out Wade and Wisconsin backup Josh Butterly to face off in the show's first challenge, to cut the competition down to 3. Luckily for Wade, it was a shooting gallery, much like the one he had constructed for himself back in Dubai. Butterly would struggle in his attempt, and Wade would advance with ease. He had saved himself from elimination, and would now have to face off Kentucky standout Tre'Davious Johnson, who was coming back from an injury, and second-team All-MAC selection out of Bowling Green, Mike Smizniak. With the last 2 contestants supposed to be getting cut on the very next day of filming, Wade did not have any time to relax. Though Wade did not excel in the play-calling or knowledge portion of his assessment, his intangibles are just so far ahead of the other competitors it was hard to ignore, and Johnson would be the next one cut. Coach Ford's last cut-down decision was a tough one, as he desperately wanted Smizniak, as he felt it was a safer option, but studio pressure forced him into selecting Wade, as it was the better story. Wade would continue to struggle, but showed a desire to improve. It was not until they brought in Colton Cruz to help Wade did he really start to improve. He helped devise a strategy of playbook simplification to speed up Wade's learning, and it paid back in bucket loads, with Wade showing almost immediate improvement. His improvements were fast, but not fast enough, and with the simulated game fast approaching, there were doubts if he'd be ready. After a disastrous interview the night before the game, a request to postpone the game was made to executive producer Ross Fountain. He would not be happy with it, and would have a breakdown, causing Wade and Cruz to leave, putting the show on hiatus. Wade would eventually be convinced to come back, and with the promotion of Julia Vasco to executive producer and the removal of Ross Fountain from the project, the program was back on, with the showcase game being pushed back to a later date. They would bring in legendary quarterback Dan Marino to help his development, and eventually Wade was ready for the game, and he would perform much better in a relaxed interview prior to the game. In the game he would excel, and even corrected his mistake in a recreation of his last collegiate pass. After the game, Wade would receive much support from fans, scouts, and even NFL players. Then draft day came. The wait would be long, and he would even see fellow long-shot contestant Tre'Davious Johnson's name be called in the 5th. But eventually the phone did ring. But it was not for Wade. It was for Cruz. Colton Cruz was selected in the 6th round with the 209th pick by the Chicago Bears. Wade would go undrafted, but would receive a call right after. He would have 2 offers on the table, and one of them was with the Bears. He would choose to go there to be with Cruz. It would not be a pleasant experience for either of them. Cruz, despite his draft status, would perform so badly he would be cut right after rookie camp, and Wade would not catch on either, being cut prior to the preseason. Both would find themselves out of football for the year, but heading into the 2018 season, Wade finds himself reunited with fellow Longshot contestant Mike Smizniak as they compete for the Dallas Cowboys QB number 3 spot. Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Jerk Studios, and I hope you enjoyed that episode of Football History. And if you did, please consider leaving a like, and if you have a player, coach, or event you would like to see me do a video on, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you are new here and like the content, please hit that subscription button, and feel free to look around at other videos in my catalog. Bye!